Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of the Culturally Controversial Podcast. This is the Bearcat Football Talk uh season finale, regular season finale. I'm your host, Simply Nicholas 87, and my co-host Ty H.
What's going on, good people? Glad to be here again.
And for all the people that hitting that subscribe button, y'all hit that subscribe button. We are one sub away from the big 400. So, I mean, if you were so kindly send it to somebody that can send it to somebody, we can make some numbers happen tonight. But appreciate everybody for sharing and appreciate everybody for tuning in for tonight. We're gonna recap a couple games. I know we three back. If I ain't mistaken, I think we're three back from Mount Pleasant
So, I mean,
to
we talked about Mount Pleasant, so that was, and the only game after that, we had
Monroe.
Monroe and Forest Hill.
Forest Hills, yeah, we'll jump into Monroe and Forest Hills, which I don't really have a lot bad to say, and I actually have a lot good to say out of that game.
I mean, I don't like losing, so I mean,
Yeah, I don't like losing either, but it was a
well,
winnable game.
yeah, and that's what frustrates me. Uh, and I'm trying to pull up the information from that
Okay.
game. So, forgive me for not being as prepared as I should be, but we're gonna get
Oh
there
no no,
together.
good, be good.
Look on Anson Senior High School. Is this easier? And I'm signed in. I'm in Max Preps. I'm signed on my profile. I'm going to North Carolina School. I'm going alphabetical order. And for whatever reason, Anson should be up in the A's. I'm sending everybody
Shoot.
but Anson. I sent AC Reynolds, L. Brown, Alexander Central, Ashbrook, Asheville, Athens Drive. They
I
don't want
think
me
if
to
it's
be.
in that list, I had to type it in one time. It was like if it's on there, I think you had to type in like Anson.
That's what I'm going to do. And there's Anson, Texas too, but I want Anson Senior High
See
School
how
in Ways in
Wadesboro.
Waysboro, North Carolina, the same Anson Senior High School that the Junkyard Dog played for, the same Anson Senior High School that WWE superstar former tag team champion Montez Ford ran track for. That's the Anson Senior High School I'm looking for, and the same Anson Senior High School that plays Parkwood tomorrow. But before we get there, some games we're gonna go over. Let's the game against Monroe. The final score of that game was 32-20 in a
Mm.
game that was far more competitive than the final score indicates. That was a nip and tuck ball game that could have gone either way. A game that Monroe found a way to win the game late. Uh, I didn't get to that game until halftime. I had some personal things going on that day that I had to
Mm.
tend to, which caused me to be late to the ball game. But the funny thing about it, when I arrived to the game, Monroe just scored a touchdown, and I could hear their fans cheering. And
Mm.
before, and, anybody who's ever been to Monroe Stadium, you have to walk a long way around to get to the visitor side. And you have to walk behind the scoreboard so you don't see the score.
Right.
And I had my lady with me, and I recall looking at her and telling her, I said, "Oh my goodness, we're probably getting run out the stadium already." I
Mm.
said, "It wouldn't shock me if we're down 28-0." And
Mm.
I continued to walk around the stadium, and then I finally got around to where I could see the scoreboard, and I looked up and I saw it said Anson 14 and Monroe 12 at that point. This is right before halftime, maybe a minute before halftime. And
Mm.
I stood there and I stared at the scoreboard in total shock. And I know people are going to say, well, you should have more faith in your team. Well, I'm going to be completely forthright with you. I had zero faith in my team going into that game. That's just the truth. I mean, you can use that as motivation or do whatever you want with that information, but I had zero faith that we were even going to be competitive in that game. And I saw it was 14-12 coming into the third quarter. Um, in a 14-12 ball game, I mean, we're defensively we're competing. Offensively, we're grinding it out. Even
Mm.
when Monroe took a 20-14 lead in the third quarter, we didn't panic. We came right back down. We answered it, tied the game 20-20. Game was tied 20-20 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We got down to about the 6 minute, at least to the 7 or 8 minute mark, tied 20-20. That's when around that time Monroe went for a go ahead touchdown. I'm gonna give you the exact point that happened. Give me 1 second. Let me.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm having a little technical difficulties, but I will not be defeated.
Got you.
I
Got you.
will never be defeated. Not this way. All right, give me 1 second.
All right.
And score tracker. Here we go. Um, actually, with 8 minutes to go, actually Anson tied the game up in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes to go, 20-20.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Monroe on the ensuing drive, or actually a minute of game time went by. That's when Monroe had a running back, Jaja something. I can't think of his name, but we had a hard time
Jackson.
with. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a hard time with Jaja Jackson. He It's funny because I grew up with a childhood friend named Jaja from way back in the day, nearly 30 years ago. Don't even know where he is. He's from like Salisbury, but anyway, this Jaja Jackson guy, he gave us a tough time, but nevertheless, Monroe took a 26-20 lead with 7 minutes left in the ball game. On the ensuing drive, and I'm a precursor to what I'm about to say. What I'm about to say might tick some people off, and I understand that, and I accept that if it ticks people off. What I did not like on that next drive, we were in negative territory. We got to a third down situation. It was 3rd and 12,
Mm-hmm.
with roughly 6 minutes left to go in the ball game. You're down by a touchdown. You're down 26-20, with an opportunity to beat a defending state champion, a team that's been the king of your conference for multiple years. You got an opportunity to pull off a big upset there. You're down 26-20 on 3rd and 12. I understand that our offense is heavily run centric. I understand that entirely. And I understand is not designed uh, to be a pass heavy offense. And I know I'm playing armchair quarterback or armchair coach. I know I'm not down there in the field. I know that I don't coach it down to football, and I know that none of this is as easy as we can make it sound from here. I understand all of that, and I understand that I will never understand how difficult that job is until I'm down there doing it. Nevertheless, I still think the criticism I'm making is legit. Uh, on the 3rd and 12, the call or the call or off tackle run up or whatever it was. I mean, to run the ball up the gut on 3rd and 12, down 26-20 with 6 minutes left in negative territory, when you know that this is a pertinent drive. I didn't understand that because to me, the probability of converting that is very low. While I understand we don't have we're not designed to be a pass heavy team, that's a situation where you have to be aggressive, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever passes you have in your playbook that you feel confident in, or you at that point you got to be creative and use it. And if it works, it
Mm-hmm.
works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at that point in the game, to get that conservative and run the ball up the gut on 3rd and 12, down 26-20, I can't understand the point of doing that, knowing you're in negative territory. Had we been in plus territory, and you knew that you were going to go for it on 4th down, that'd be a different story because you might be thinking maybe we could pick up a few yards and go for it on 4th down, and
Mm-hmm.
that still may have been logical. But in this case, we were in negative territory, so if you don't pick up anything, you know you got to punt the ball. To run the ball up the gut and then punt the ball to them, to me, that was that's where that was the ball game. Of course, on the ensuing drive with about 3 minutes left to go in the ball game, um, Monroe scored again.
Mm-hmm.
They said a guy named Jeremiah Lindsay. I kept hearing that Jaja name, Jaja Jackson. I think it was Jaja Jackson. This is wrong. Jaja Jackson scored those touchdowns. He scored again with
Mm-hmm.
um, with 3 minutes left. At down 2 scores, our offense is not designed for quick strike when you're down that late in the game. That was the ball game. I know from your perspective, I know that you're proud of how we competed, especially we were massive underdogs playing against a team that's owned us the last several years, has run us out of the stadium several years.
Yeah.
I look at it from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it all losses are losses. And I
Right.
always feel like, and I look at it as if you had an opportunity to win the game and the opportunity was there and you didn't take advantage of the opportunity, then still you didn't accomplish what you set out to do.
Mhm.
Granted, I am happy that we showed competitive spirit. I am happy that we showed competitive fire. We showed that we can compete with arguably the best team in the conference still.
Yeah,
But nevertheless, there were so many missed opportunities, and I thought we actually had a chance to pull that upset. And I felt like down the stretch in that game, we weren't aggressive enough, and that cost us the ball game.
I agree. I'm with you on that. I'll give you the good takes out of it.
Hmm.
I what we talked about the last time we was on 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
They actually went through with it, and it actually worked. Keep away. They played keep away, and they did a good job at it. I give them that. I cannot. I know it's a loss, you know, but they did what they needed to do. Keep Monroe's offense off the field as long as you can. You have a chance to win this game, and they did. I get it. You know, there's no victory, moral
More
victories.
victories.
Yeah, but and in this case, when I looked at it, I was kind of bothered, but I wasn't because I was like, well, that the tempo that they used to keep their offense off the field, it worked. They had the first drive. I know you weren't there you didn't get there till like halftime,
Right.
but I'll break the first drive down for you. Anson methodically moved that ball down the field. I think they were started at I want to say the 20, and they just milked the clock. They ran at least 7 minutes off in that first drive, and I was like, you know what? Okay, I like. We get to the second quarter. We got an 8-6 ball game, if I'm not mistaken. Second quarter, they get the ball back and do the same thing, but a little bit farther back. I think they was at like the 15 to 10. They Another methodical drive. Um, Definitely got that, and it was 14-6 at that point.
Hmm.
And I think like I said, Monroe scored right before the half, and it was 14-12 going to halftime. The excuse me. The plus I can take out of that is that if, and this is just me looking at it from a standpoint, this year, if we would have used that tempo properly like that, we would be looking 6-3 ish
We
right
should be
now.
we should be 6-3
That-
anyway, but I'll get into that later.
yeah. But I get it. But the way that they used the offense this time, it worked to what they needed it to do. Was to keep Monroe from scoring 40 to 50 points a game. I get they scored 32-1. A win is a win, no matter how you take it. But what the upside of that was you kept that high power offense, and they were kind of flustered. I don't think they had been flustered all year, minus the non conference games they played against West Charlotte and
Weddington.
Weddington. Yeah, they hadn't been tested. I didn't see that coming. I'll be honest. I was like you. I thought that that game would have got out of hand earlier if they would have been moving the ball faster.
Yeah. Now,
And
and not to take away from anything from Anson's effort, but
mm,
I think it's still fair to say this year's Monroe team is not as potent as they were the previous 2 years, and that's
no,
not that's and don't get me wrong, Anson's not nearly as good as we were the last 2 years either. So I mean that's attrition is a part of the game. I understand that,
yeah,
but that natural attrition, graduation is part of the game. So I
hmm
get that, but nevertheless. We were heavy underdogs in the game, and we had a chance to win the game. And I think that's where my frustration lies because instead of see, I don't look at the name on the front of the jersey. I look at what we did, what our opportunities were, and did we take advantage of our opportunities, no matter who the opponent is.
right,
And I look at it. That was a situation where we had another opponent. Coach Allen said at the beginning of the year, faceless opponent. We had another faceless opponent. We
hmm
had opportunities and the reason we didn't win that game, well, I'm not gonna say so. I mean, you got to give Monroe credit. They still made more plays than we did.
yeah.
But a big reason why we didn't win that game is missed opportunities. We had several missed tackles on
Mm-hmm.
Monroe's last drives. A couple of times we had them contained in the backfield, we missed a tackle. Some of that could have been because of fatigue, but nevertheless, I'm just naming the missed opportunities. There were missed opportunities that happened there that cost us. There was another missed opportunity in the third quarter where we forced a fumble on Monroe, got the ball back, and then we fumbled at the very next play and gave the ball right back in the red zone. That's when they took the 26-20 lead,
Yep.
or took the 20-14 lead rather.
Yeah.
Things like that. When you're playing against a very good team like that, and you get opportunities like that, you have to take advantage of them because if you don't, a team like that is going to make you pay. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think the missed opportunity part for us frustrates me. And I thought down the stretch of the game, like I said, I thought we were a little too conservative in the last 7 or 8 minutes of the ball game, especially the last last the drive that where we were down 26-20 and ran the ball up with good and I thought at that point, even if it doesn't work, so be it. I always say don't they say leave it all out in the field. That's a situation where I felt like we have to put our you have to take risks sometimes. If you try to throw it and you get intercepted, so be it. At the end of the day, whether you lose because you got intercepted or whether you lose because you punted the ball, you still lost. You got to at least give yourself and when you got a chance for an upset like that, you got to give yourself an opportunity and you got to be aggressive in the situation. Like you're going into that game 1-6, I believe, or 1-5, 1-6, something like that.
Yeah,
At
something
that
like that.
point, you're playing with house money. I don't understand the need to be that conservative because you play to win the game, and I know that's what they wanted to do, and I know it's easy to second guess it 2 weeks later when it didn't work. But I think even if you talk to the anyone in general, I think in that situation, I think they would feel like that we should have at least been more aggressive in that situation. So I mean that really frustrated me about this game, and because I thought that we had a great opportunity to win the game, and it still came down to our missed opportunities more so
Mm-hmm.
than anything that was particularly great about Monroe.
Right. And like I said, I watched. Well, I seen some of the people. What I say, comments and reactions after the game,
Yeah,
and most of them were Monroe fans, and uh, they felt like that was a nail biter. And I
it
agree.
was.
It was. It was definitely a nail biter. One of the games I was tuned into. Um, I like I said, I know we don't you don't get wins for moral victories, but in this case, I was good to see the direction. I was kind of disappointed on the missed opportunities, like you as well. But at the end of the day, a loss is a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get it back. But
Nope.
the fight is there. And one thing I can say, they have been fighting all year
Like I said,
long.
all of our losses have been close.
They've been
Most of them, I
close.
say.
They've been real close. Like,
And then and in this game, I mean, as far as running the football, we ran the football effectively. To me, we ran for 294 yards in this game, 5.5 yards to carry. That that's rough. It's hard to accept running for nearly 300 yards and losing the ball
lose.
game.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's a really tough pill to swallow, man. 53 carries and 294 yards. That's nearly 300 yards. If uh,
And I say this: don't a lot of teams run for 300 on Monroe.
No, and that's why when you have a game like that, you got to come away with a win. I'm looking at the box score. I see
Hmm.
Tashawn Harris, 16 carries, 88 yards, and a touchdown. Tashawn Harris has been the most consistent runner we've had all year. I'm not saying he's the most explosive runner. He's the most
Hmm.
consistent runner.
Consistent.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Bivens is the most explosive runner. In this game, they kind of bottled him up a little bit, 10 carries, 37 yards. But I mean, he had two touchdowns. He had a lot of tough yards in this game. So um, no, Bivens, and I know this. You probably gonna think I'm crazy for saying this. He's just a sophomore. Bivens, his build and his style, he reminds me a lot of James Kirby. Now granted, he hasn't got that top end speed as of yet that James Kirby has, but I feel like if he's a guy in the offseason, as he continues to fill out, as he continues to to grow and continue
On his
to
craft.
work on his
Yeah.
craft, on his craft. I think he has potential. Now, potential is a dangerous word because if you live up to it, then great. And if you don't live up to it, it's a letdown. But
Mm.
Cordarius Bivens has potential to be another James Kirby. He's built like him. He
I agree.
I would love to see Bivens in a tailback and in the I formation at the tailback. Put a fullback in front of him, put him at the tailback, get under center, hand the ball, put a lead blocker in front of him, and
Let him do.
yeah, and let him hit that run off tackle, let him hit that edge. And
Mm-hmm.
I hope Bivens is listening to this. You got the potential to be something really special. And also in this game, this Orion Legrand, sophomore, he's come along the last few games. Another solid game for this young man. 8 carries, 81 yards. And like I said, the team as a whole ran for 294 yards. Oh yeah, Jackson Stinson 3 carries, 12 yards. Luke Thomas 3 carries, 15 yards. Seemed like everybody that touched the ball.
Got yards.
Actually, we did run over for over 300 yards in high school. Quarterback sacks, I think.
Nope.
A sack counts against your rushing yards, whereas in the NFL it counts against your passing yards. So I see it -9 yards from the QB position, but that potentially could have been a sack or something.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but still running for nearly 200 yards, I think is nearly 300 yards is remarkable. That's what allowed you to stay in the game. Unfortunately, you didn't take advantage of the opportunities, man, and that's tough. But like I
Yeah.
said, that's been the story of our season: missed opportunity after missed opportunity after missed opportunity. And the thing
Yeah.
about it, in a couple of weeks, or in a week or so, if you're standing outside, if you're outside looking in, there are going to be a lot of plays where you're going to say, if we would have made this tackle, if we would have made this catch, if we would have made this stop, if we wouldn't drop this interception, if we wouldn't have got this false start, whatever it may be, there are going to be a lot of ifs that we're going to look back at and say, man, if this wouldn't have happened, if that wouldn't have happened, if that wouldn't have happened, and I'm talking about single plays.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a team that's 1-7 that should be roughly 6-3, 7-2 when you look at the missed opportunities. And some of these missed opportunities are things that swing the pendulum of a game too. I know it's a game of inches, and I know it's wins and losses are usually separated by a few plays here and there. But when you look back over our season, I'm not even going to go up to the next game yet, but just of the previous games coming back from Monroe. Lost to Monroe
Okay.
32-20 in a game that went down to the wire.
Yep.
Lost that game against Hunter Huss. I know the score was 28-12. That game was we were up 12-6 at halftime, up 12-6 going into the fourth quarter. The game was 14-12 midway through the fourth quarter. South
Mm-hmm.
Stanley 39-38, a game you lost at the last second. Montgomery Central 38-16. You were leading at halftime in the game. That game was close to three quarters, and our turnovers just led to points. Red Springs last second touchdown 32-30. Even Pender, I know Pender's a very good football team, so not minimizing it, but that was a game that went back and forth for the first half, and it kind of got pulled away from the third quarter. When you
Yeah.
look at the game, and then the game that we're about to cover, when you look at how those games went, you're talking about one, two, I want to say three, even 4 or 5. Those like 4 or 5 more wins you could have had. Could have, would have, should have. Well, you are what your record says you are. So you're never going to hear me say that you. I'm not going to say that we're better than what our record indicates, but what I'll say is we're more competitive than what our record indicates.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
right. But one thing,
Absolutely.
but a good football team finds ways to win those close games
Yeah.
because we're young. Can't be an excuse because you don't stay young forever.
No.
But at some point you have to find a way to finish football games, and all year long, with the exception of the game against West Stanley, we found ways not to finish. Pender in the second half just beat us. I give him that. Mount Pleasant just beat us. I'll acknowledge that. It's hard for me to even say. I can't even just say Huss just downright out because that game was that they scored a couple of late touchdowns that game to make the stretch their lead out. We
Yeah.
like I said, South Stanley. We know at last second touchdown. You know, it's hard to accept a lot of this because it's like the story of the season could be so much different. But I'm off my soapbox, man. I know you want to talk about Forest Hills, so go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're getting the force here. No, you good. I agree with everything you said, man. The when you look at the record, you're gonna be like, well, dang, they won in uh 8. But then if you go look at the schedule and you see the results, you're gonna be like, this team look like. And then you look at the stats, you like this team should be 7-2. You
Yeah,
would look at it that way.
yeah,
I mean, honestly, like I think that, like you said, this season has been missed opportunities. It started with the turnovers, a lot of those. It cleaned up. I think we had one against Monroe, if I ain't mistaken. It was one. They had one
yeah,
kid
but yeah, and it came at the worst possible time.
time. Yeah, it was one, and we forced one on them. So it was a couple. It was more than at one point at the beginning of the year. It was like multiples,
Yeah, like
three or
four
four.
game, and your defense couldn't stop a nosebleed either. And so
Yeah.
so turning the ball over was a double whammy because I mean it's just basically just give the other team a touchdown at that point. The beginning of the year, we'll say first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, we looked completely lost, almost as if we didn't even have an off season. That's how lost we looked.
Hmm.
I mean, we looked completely lost. Uh,
But somewhere around there, they kind of cleaned it up, kind of started making a few stops here, forcing a punt here and there. I was like, okay, well, we're getting somewhere.
yeah,
Uh,
and you expect to get better as the year go on because I mean repetition and all that too.
but
Um,
as we say during each season, we do this. It can get late early.
well, it got late real early this year.
It got late, and that's no knock. But let's see.
No,
Let's
it's no
just
knocking. No, it's no knocking. I'm not here to knock anybody, but I mean, but to say that we're 1-7, that's factual. That's not knocking anybody. That's the truth. That is a documented fact. We've played 8 games and we've only won one of them. That is a documented fact. That's not disrespecting anybody. That's the truth. And what I want to, and I'm about to have another rant because I
okay.
get because I get tired of this sometimes. Sometimes people get offended by criticism. I'm not talking about a friend of ours. I'm talking about the people that you talk to in general. The general public is who I'm referring to, who and what I'm referring to here and there. And it's
Mhm.
like when you point out things that are flaws, whatever. Sometimes people get sensitive to it and get upset about it. I'm like, if I'm not lying about anything, then there's nothing to be upset about. This is a documented fact that we played 8 games and we've only won one of them. That is a documented fact. It is a documented fact that we were averaging at one point multiple turnovers a game. That is a documented fact, and that is not a formula to win games. That's the truth. That's what happened. That's not and that's fair game to say that hey. The we're turning the ball over too much and it's costing us games. That's fair game. If anybody gets
Mhm.
upset about that, then just be upset, and I'm not apologizing for it. To say that we struggle to stop people on defense mightily, that's just factual. That happened. I'm about to say that's not something that I'm saying to criticize about it. That's just the truth. That's what took place. And let's
Yeah.
see what our Carlos Huff. I know a Carlos Huff. He's kind of like family.
Yeah.
I'm talking about kind of like family to me. We're family connected. I put it like that. Of Curses and the Huffs have been linked and connected for a very long time. So shout out to Carlos Huff. Appreciate you coming on the show, brother.
Oh
I
yeah.
know you don't. I know you don't know me, but you and I are family connected. Um, and, the Huffs and McNairs and all them. I know them very well. Grew up in church with people like Miss Amy Lee, Miss Amy Lee McNair, and people like the descendants of Mr. Jack Huff and all them. We're all connected. Jermaine Huff is a good friend of mine. We work together and all that. So yeah, we're connected. Anyway, glad you're on there. But like he said, sometimes you got to strap up and do something that you're not comfortable doing. I agree, Mr. Huff. I agree 100%. And I appreciate that input. And all of this is just commentary. I mean, and I think one thing I love about Coach Allen is Coach Allen doesn't run from the truth. And Coach Allen, he's a guy that's gonna like look. He's always looking to be better, and that's and
Mhm.
so and one thing I like about Coach Allen, and one thing I respect about him, he'll say that hey, that this wasn't good enough, and this is what we got to do better. And
Yeah.
Coach Jackson was the same way. I give Coach Jackson credit. Coach Jackson will always be the first to tell you that, hey, that we got to do this better. And Coach Allen's, who comes from the same tree, is the same way. And that's why I respect both men, because neither man is scared to take accountability. And Coach Allen, who's our current coach, he's not afraid to say, hey, this is what we got to do better. So, and I think that's why over the last few weeks we've looked a lot better, because I believe that he's stressed us. Getting better. It just unfortunately it hasn't turned into victories yet. But we're, like I said, this past week we seemed to inch. We were so close. We just inched a little bit closer. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to segue into that. So hey, man, what were your thoughts about how things looked against Forest Hill, another good football team, Forest Hill team that currently
Uh,
stands at 8-1, that we went toe to toe with?
that game I didn't see.
Oh, well, then I'll tell you what I saw.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't. That one I didn't see. I didn't see that one.
Okay, well, I was there.
Okay.
That's a game that frustrates me more than the Monroe game,
Mm-hmm.
because we should have had it, man. This is the best defensive performance we had all year long. The defense did their job. Anytime you only surrender two scores to that potent Forest Hill team, two touchdowns, you did your job, and you did your job. And thanks, Charles Holly. Yeah, our Carlos, make sure you hit the subscribe button, man. That'll give us the extra subscriber. Thanks, Charles, for pointing that out.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
and anyway, that was you talking about missed opportunities, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Forest Hill went scoreless in the first half. Forest Hill did not score a single point in this game until late in the third quarter. We possessed that ball. Let me pull this up. Let me see if I can find the time possession. Because
Okay.
as long as we possess that ball, 12 points is not enough to show for how long we possessed that ball. We and we ran the ball. We ran for nearly 200 yards. We were able to run the ball fairly well. It wasn't as explosive, but this Legrand kid again. Uh, he's a late bloomer. He came late in the season, but this young man's getting some tough yards. 12 carries, 62 yards, 5.2 a pop. Um, and just a sophomore. Bivens is a sophomore. You know, we might be in good hands. There's a lot of talent on this team.
That's a good 1-2 punch coming up for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, the potential is there, but we got to put it together. But back to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Forrest Hill didn't score until the third quarter. Let me see exactly when they scored. It was late in the game. And I'm gonna tell you what frustrated me about this. Let's see, because we were up 6-0 at halftime,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see, Forest Hill scored, and I can't remember. It was set up from I can't remember what set it up, but it was something. It wasn't like they just marched 90 yards down the field. I can't remember. I think they had pretty good field position. They were on a short field. I can't remember if we turned it over on downs or what exactly happened. It was something that set them up on the short field. Anyway, it was a situation where I wasn't mad at defense because they were on a shorter field. But anyway, and Forest Hill took a 7-6 lead, and then they doubled down. They came right back and started the fourth quarter, took a 14-6 lead when we had a 3-and-out. And but late in the game, we scored a touchdown and went for 2-point conversion. I mean, and it just came short by inches. And unfortunately, that was all short. We lost the game 14-12. But the part that bothers me about the game, there were points, and I remember right in the second quarter, there were times we had like possessions that lasted 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. And then we
Mm-hmm.
came away with no points. Marched all right before halftime, marched all the way down. If we had a chance to go up either 12, 13, 14 to nothing, and march all the way down the field, get down the red zone, and stall out and don't convert on fourth down. That hurts when you don't have a kicking game too, because if you had a kicking game, those points could have came in handy. 3 points here and there could have came in handy.
Yep.
Happened even in the second half times we had long possessions, but we didn't come away with points. It's like we held onto the ball, held onto the ball, held onto the ball, but we didn't finish our drives. And I
Mm-hmm.
think as much as we've been able to finish drives throughout the season, but have a defense put you in compromising positions. The one game where the defense plays is what off
Mm-hmm.
is the game where we struggle to finish our offensive drives. I mean, that's I know the average Joe's like, well, that's an 8-1 Forest Hill team. We only lost them by 2 points. I'm looking at it as like another game where you definitely had an opportunity to win, and you just missed some opportunities. And this time the missed opportunities were on offense. I'm not gonna criticize the defense. You held them to
Hmm.
14 points. Defense did their job,
Yeah.
especially. Yeah, I'm more critical on how we missed opportunities offensively, and it's unfortunate. It's a loss. The last 2 weeks have been
Tough.
very tough because we were playing against really good football teams, and we played them down to the wire. And what bothers me about it, some of those teams we played earlier, if we'd have played them like that, we'd probably won those games. But
Yeah.
but that's the way the ball bounces. What I will give credit for, at least the guys show pride. They don't. They're not just laying down and giving up on the season. They're trying.
Yeah.
They're trying. And like I said, with the depth issue, I think has a lot to do with down the stretch, man. Without having that depth, it could be rough. You got a lot of guys playing both ways, not really having many guys who can sub, and it's still. And I hope nobody takes this personal. But when you got 76 players in your program, but you only use 32 of them and 33 of them on varsity, uh, I know you 8 quarters from guys too. But at some point, do you look at it and say, hey, maybe I should have front loaded my varsity and gone thin on JV instead? Because that and then because here's the thing, someone might say, well, if you play some of these young guys, they're not experienced, you can get torched. You got torched anyway the first half of the season, so it was the same result. I know I'm talking with the benefit of hindsight, and I know hindsight is 2020, but but
Hmm.
looking back at it, if you had nearly 80 guys in your program, but yet you're only carrying a varsity of 33 players, that means you have no depth, and you're playing everybody both ways. And I know, and I understand you're gonna do you're gonna look at who gives you the best chance to win, and if playing a bunch of guys both ways because you feel like that gives you the best chance to win, then I understand you got to do what you got to do. And I know what I'm doing, and I already admit what I'm doing is revisionist history. I know it's revisionist history. I know it's Monday quarterback, and I understand that. But still looking back, I wonder, um, could we have allocated could we have allocated our numbers a little differently? And I wonder would that have made a difference? And who knows? It may have not made a difference at all. That might very well be true, but it's always going to be in the back of my head. Could we have done that? Nevertheless, we sit at what 1-8 and 1-3 in conference play. Now, what I
Hmm.
do know is in class, what are we 4A? And out
Yeah.
of the and disclaimer, folks who haven't listened, no, we're not back to the old 4A that we used to be. North Carolina now has 8 classifications. It goes 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, and 7A, and 8A. Like for example, Richmond County, they're 7A. Scotland
Hmm.
County is 6A. Monroe is 5A. Forest Hill is 5A. Anson is 4A. So just to give an example, people like Mallet Creek, they're 7A. I think West Charlotte is 8A. So just to give
Hmm.
people, so when I say 4A, I'm talking about 4 out of 8. So we're right in the middle of the road, medium sized school. All right, just for clarity's sake, for those who may not be aware. All right, so and I don't even remember where I was going with that, but in Class 4A, I think there are 57 programs. How many? I think well, it's supposed to be 64 overall schools, but only like 58 of them that carry varsity football programs,
Yeah.
and 48 teams make the playoffs. So I mean, I'm just looking at numbers. Out of 57 programs, 48 of them make the playoffs. That means that only 9 of them don't make the playoffs. That makes me think that mathematically, if you win tomorrow against Parkwood,
You're in.
well, I would say I would say you got a puncher's chance. I mean, because I don't know what's going to happen in the other games,
That's true.
um, and I don't know how those final RPIs are going to shake out because the teams get seeded strictly on RPI now. The way it's set up now, conference championship doesn't mean anything.
Mm-mm.
Conference record doesn't mean that. I mean, you want to win as many games as you can, but as far as
Yeah.
conference standings mean nothing. A conference
Mm-mm.
championship means nothing. Conference championship is nothing but a beauty pageant. It means
Yep.
nothing as far as playoff positioning. It's just basically where you stand with your RPI. So I don't know how that's going to shake out, but just mathematically speaking, if 48 out of 57 teams get in, by the way, which is ridiculous, but that's another story for another day. If
Hmm.
47 out of 58 teams get in, I mean 40. What I say, 48 out of 57 teams get in.
Yeah.
Only that mean only 9 don't get in. I say tomorrow play to win the game and see if you get in. And I say, and even if the odds were against you to get in, play for pride.
Play for pride.
Play for you're representing your family's name. Play for pride. So play for pride. But
Let me give you I'm gonna give you a history lesson. Um, I posted it the other day on Facebook. I don't mean to cut you off,
you good,
but
man.
um, you know, after if let's play for pride, win tomorrow, you get in. You know, the record goes back to 0-0.
Yep.
It's 1 week at a time. Then we
Yep.
gotta go back and let's go back to history. Let's go back to 2000, and you know where I'm going with this. Road Warriors. That's what I call them. The
Yeah.
Bearcats of the 2000 Road Warriors. They
A
didn't
lot
play
better
a.
team.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I'm just using this as a example. You're going to more likely be on the road every game, more than none, more likely than none. I'll put it that way.
Oh, if you
And
get in, you're going on the road. Go
oh
ahead.
yeah, you're going on the road. But that Anson team went on the road and went all the way to the 4A Western Regional.
Yep.
Is what I'm saying. They beat some top notch teams to get there.
Yep.
They beat a Crest team that was slated to win state that year in
Yep.
4A. Had
Beat West
Independence,
beat West
West
Forsyth, who was a conference champion.
AC
Yep.
Reynolds,
Beat
who
AC
was
Reynolds, who was
a
defending state
favorite.
champion at town. Yeah.
Yep,
And was a
and
conference
lost them the year
champion.
before. Came
Yep.
back and
Yep.
beat them the next year.
Yep.
And got the Independence and
Chris
came
Leaks
short.
independent. Yeah, Chris Leaks
Leaked
independence. Just
Independence.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Lost on 30-28. Yeah.
yep,
Uh, Theoretically, I like your point. I agree with your point. But on the flip side, that was a much better football team. That team won 7 ball games that year, went 7-3, and you get and they played a monster schedule that year too.
yeah, they
Um,
started out the season with like what Mount Tabor, Forest
Yeah,
Hills,
yeah, yeah. That's a,
and
yeah, and another thing. Back then, the playoff format only 32 teams from 16 from the East, 16 from the West. It was only a 32 team playoff back then, and
mhm,
it was much harder to get in playoffs. Back then, you can go 8-2 and miss the playoffs because conference standings mattered. The South
conference.
Piedmont 4A conference took 3 teams, and we were
Hmm.
on the verge. If Hope County would have beat Richmond County at last game of the season, even with 7 wins, we would have missed the playoffs. And
Yep,
actually, what ended up happening that year in the conference, Richmond Senior, of course, won the conference.
yep,
And so how it ended up working, Anson, Scotland, and Hoke all went 7-3, 4-2 in the conference, and three
hmm
bids went. Richmond had the first bid because they won the conference championship, went undefeated, won the conference championship. So now we had to settle the second bid and the third bid out of the conference. So here's what happened that year.
hmm
Anson beat Scotland.
okay,
Scotland beat Hoke,
and
and
Hope beat
Hope beat
Anson.
Anson. So
Yep,
you had a 3-way tie, and you had an I beat you, you beat them, they beat me situation.
yep.
Traditionally or historically, those ties, we didn't do RPI back then. Those ties back then
Well,
were
coin flip.
broken by coin
Uh,
flip or draw.
mm-hmm.
Fortunately, for the luck of the draw, Anson got the second bid, Hope got the third bid, and Scotland County got left at home. Scotland County went 7-3 and 4-2 in their league and got left at home. Similar
Mm-hmm.
situation happened in 1997 with Concord. Concord went 9-1 and didn't make it. The South Piedmont 3A conference only had like 4 or 5 teams in it, so they only had one bid. So the conference champion was the only bid. Kannapolis and Concord both, I think, went into that game undefeated, and
Yep.
Concord lost that game and went 9-1 and got left at home. That's a 9-1 team or a 7-3 team not making the playoffs now is unimaginable. As far as how the playoff format is now, even if it benefits us, the
Right.
fact that a 2-8 football potential 2-8 football team can make the playoffs is ridiculous and stupid. And it's that BS. Everybody gets a trophy BS, and I can't stand it. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with you. Like I'm one of those believers of if your record doesn't fit your qualifications, you shouldn't get in. But
It should
it's
be it should be based on merit. Like you play to win the game. The system that we have now does not reward winning. It just it's we've gotten so perversed with algorithms and numbers and all that stuff to where we've taken common sense out of the evaluation process. How many games did you play? How many games did you win? And who did you beat? I mean, what's so hard about that? And no, if you only got 57 teams in a classification, no, you shouldn't be allowing 48 of them to make the playoffs. You might as well let all 57 of them get in if you're going to do that. That's
I
like there are 300 and something Division One NCAA basketball teams. Can you imagine that 310 teams make an NCAA tournament? That's stupid.
that's insane. That's not
But
enough TV time.
right, I'm about to say I understand these are kids. And to that crowd, I said these are kids. I said yes, and West Charlotte and Mallet Creek and all them, they're kids too. But my point is, yes, I understand these are kids, but also we're teaching kids lessons. I'm about to say when they hit the real world, there's not going to be an easy button that says, "Oh, even though the merit is not there, that we're going to let you in anyway because everybody gets to participate." Life ain't going to be like that. And to me, we're teaching kids the wrong lesson when we tell them that you can underperform but still be rewarded for it.
I agree. No, I'm with you 100%. Like I'm with you to the point. Like I don't agree that teams that are way sub 500 or under 500 should make the postseason.
Right. I can live with a 4 and 16 sliding in. I mean, I can live with that. I mean, but when
Yeah,
you're 2 and 8, 3 and 7, there's no unless you finish like second in your conference. Let's say you went 3 and 2 in your conference or something. I'm talking. Then I can live with them. I'm talking about from a general perspective, with some outliers. You're only winning 2 games and stuff. There's no reason. First of all, the whole playoff. This is a money grab. The whole thing is. You know what? Screw my proud talking. Let me get country. This is a money thing. This
and
whole thing is just a money thing. It's just a money grab. The North Carolina High School Athletic Association just want to get rich, have as many games they can, and make as much money they can. This ain't about no kids. This ain't about teaching no kids values and lessons in life. That's a whole bunch of BS. It's just a money thing and a money grab. That's all it is.
it's fair. Like I said, I agree with you, and to the point where I like I said, I don't agree that the teams that are that low should get in, and that's not being funny to nothing. It's just the simple fact because we seen it a couple years ago when we were covering some of these brackets. There was a 1 and 10, 1 and 9 team and 1A that got in the playoffs.
And that's ridiculous. You're rewarding people underperforming. And everybody know I love Anson from the heavens to the earth. Anybody who know me know I love the Anson Senior High School Bearcats. Anybody who knows me know that I'm a diehard Anson Senior High School football fan. I love Anson, and I want to see Anson in any favorable situation as possible. At the same time, and we ain't got that's if we beat Parkwood, Mar. If we go 2 and 8, 2 and 8, there's no merit in being rewarded with a playoff berth at 2 and 8 if that ends up happening. That's not me trying to be negative. That's not me trying to down our guys. I'm not doing that. But this has been an underachieving and an underperforming season, and it, and this is not about Anson. This is just about the playoff structure in North Carolina. North Carolina's playoff structure is ridiculous. First of all, the 8 classifications is ridiculous. This state, don't get me wrong, we're a large state. We're not the size of Texas. I can see if
No,
we were a state the size of Texas or Florida population wise or California, yeah, you might need 8 classifications, 5 at the most. But we could just go 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A like we used to. You subdivide 1A since there's such a discrepancy from the smallest to largest, and then everybody else 2, 3, and 4, 16 from the east, 16 from the west. Call it a day.
yeah,
And if you're good enough to get in, you'll get in. If you're not good enough to get in, you won't get in. Tough. We need to let young men and young ladies know that if you don't meet the performance guidelines, if you don't meet expectations, you're not going to reap the benefit. You're not going to be rewarded for it. Life is not going to reward you when you don't. If you go work a job tomorrow, young men and young ladies, if you go work a job when you get in the real world, let's say when you graduate high school, when you graduate high school, 3 things gonna happen. You're either gonna be enrolled, you're either gonna be enlisted, or you're gonna be employed. One
hmm
of the 3. And in all 3 sectors of them, there are going to be guidelines and performance expectations. If you're enrolled, there are classroom expectations that are going to be met for you to complete the curriculum. If you're enlisted, you darn well going to have expectations, discipline, in the U.S. Armed Services. And if you're employed at your job, there are going to be expectations, performance expectations. And if you fail at in all 3 phases, in all 3 components, in all 3 entities, then either one of them, then you're not going to be rewarded, and you're going to be standing outside. You're either gonna and job is gonna not gonna continue to deal with you. The school is not gonna continue to deal with it, and you know darn well the U.S. Armed Services ain't gonna put up with you. I'm about
Yeah.
to say so we shouldn't be teaching those lessons, but yet with our high school sports, we're teaching our young men and women that hey, you could underperform, but you're still going to get the same benefit,
But
which is
I
ridiculous.
blame, like you said, I blame the high school association for this. You know why? Because I'm gonna tell you this, and it's simple as pie. No, North Carolina High School Athletic Association does not teach competition,
No,
competitive spirit, or anything. Because if that was the case, we'd stay 16 in the East, 16 in the West.
right. And I'm about to rant on some more stuff. It's just all on my heart today. When it comes to Anson, I'm tired of Anson having an underdog mentality. When I was growing up, Anson was the big bad bully on the block.
We were.
When I was growing up, Anson was Debo.
Mm-hmm.
when I was and when you played, when you were
Mm-hmm.
on the squad,
Mm-hmm.
Anson, I'll give credit. When Fred Davis, even before my time, Coach Emery coached the team, Anson was the bull in the block. Fred Davis took over. Anson was the bull in the block. Even under Coach Grooms, there was a swagger. Like for example, when Coach Grooms in 2006 with the Bearcats, when they went on to take on number one West Rand, they went to West Rand expecting to win. They went. Anson walked in that game feeling like, even though West Rand had the number one seed, 10-1, 11-1, and they had an all world running back. Anson walked into West Rand feeling like they were the better team. Now they
Mm-hmm.
weren't like, but now it's like when we play people like Monroe Forest Hill, we act like we're this big underdog and we're scared to death. Like, oh, at least from the fan base, we act like that. I'm not in the locker room. I'm talking from the fan base. We act like
Gotcha.
that, and it's almost like we're supposed to be the underneath underdog, and like almost like we want to be Cinderella. I'm like, Anson's supposed to be the big bad wolf. I'm about
I
to say
want to be.
when
I
I'm
want
about
to
to
be on
say
top of the mountain.
yeah, and I'm not saying that we always were number one, always had the best record, but we always went in there believing that we were the baddest MFR on the planet.
Yeah.
you know, there was a swagger and a confidence that came with Anson. And when you played under Coach Grooms, it, we might would have got Asheville blew Anson out in 2005, but Anson still went in there with that swagger. It's
Yeah.
just Asheville just a better football team.
They
Um,
were.
yeah,
Yes,
and that
they were.
happens. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
happens. But the year before, took a tough loss to Burns up there. They had an all world wide receiver. Burns ended up winning the game 28-18, but Anson still went in there and competed and didn't feel like, oh, we're big underdogs. There was a level of confidence where those guys still believed they were going to win every game.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and now that swagger and that confidence is there. It's almost like we're trying to fight for underneath. Like we're trying to say that we don't want to be bullied anymore. We're trying to we're like this underdog that's trying to fight back. When before we were the big bad wolf, and that
Coach
confidence, that
Harris
swagger
in the
got to get
building.
back. What's up, Coach Harris? Good to see you, man.
It's all
Right, Coach
mentality.
Harris. It's all mentality. Coach Harris knows that tradition. It's all mentality. 71st has a mentality. The 71st Falcons. When it comes to the whatever name that conference is down there in the Two Rivers
I think
Conference or whatever
I
it is
think
down
it's
there,
United. It was United 8. I don't know what it
United
is
Eight.
now.
Did I say Two Rivers Conference? Didn't there used to be a Two Rivers Conference? But anyway,
Yeah.
but you did the United Eight Conference. They're the big bad bull in the block. Even when they play people like Richmond Senior, they go in there thinking that they're better and they're going to win, which the last few years has been the case. Um, and we have to reestablish that mentality that no, we're not an underdog hoping we're that nasty, big bad bully on the block. And we got to get back to that because we
Yeah.
definitely got the size. We got some big boys on the team. Size wise, this team is bigger. I'm talking about as size of the players. We got
Yeah.
some meat. We got meat on that team. This
Yeah.
team,
Yeah.
this team is bigger than the team that like you had in '05 and stuff as far as size up front.
Mm-hmm.
That size up front, we should be bullying people in the trenches. And
Oh,
we shouldn't have to be running a double wing. We should be able to line up in our formation if we want to, and run you over, and nothing you can do about it.
oh, Eastern Sand Hill. Okay.
Okay, they changed it again. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, because I
yeah,
think they in I don't know if this is some of the same teams in that conference with them this year or not, but
yeah, because they're 6A, right?
yeah, 6A. I think it's 6A, 7A, or is it six
Yeah,
A,
but I'm talking
five
about
A?
they're 6A, and the
They're
crazy thing
six A.
about it,
Yeah.
in the three last year under the old 1-2-4A, they played in 3A championship game, but they were playing against a team that's now an 8A team. So I mean, West Charlotte didn't have no business being 3. I'm not making excuses, but West Charlotte didn't have no business being 3A last year. No way. At any of that time, they finagled their numbers, and they were
I,
playing 3A ball in the championship game when they were probably double the size of 71st. Now playing 8A where 71st 6A. When the very next year the 2 classifications up. So, and that still was a 14-7 ball game and went right down to the wire. So I mean,
yeah,
um, so and I know 71st. What there's 7-2, 8-1 on the field if I'm not mistaken. I'm Coach Harris can talk about the whatever why it reflects the 7-2, but they're 8-1 on the football field, 7-2 on paper. Um,
yes,
I think they're primed for another run, and the reason why they're primed for another run because of the mentality, and we got to that same type of mentality has to be reinfused in Bearcat Nation.
I agree.
And as far as we hadn't even got to this. We got a game against Parkwood tomorrow. How about
Hmm.
this? Parkwood's a bad football team. We're a bad football team. But we have to be, but we have to make a few more plays than they do. We're at home. It's senior night. To the seniors out here, this is gonna probably be the last home game you ever play at Bearcat Stadium. Have some pride. Don't go out with an L on your senior night. I think we should be able to beat Parkwood, and similar to like how we beat West Stanley.
Hmm.
Game that I think they'll put up a fight, but I think we'll be able to hold them off. I think we'll win by a couple scores. I feel like Anson wins this game. I'll say 27 to 17.
Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna do you one better. Senior night, go out there and put it all to the wall. I can't say what I really want to say, but
Yeah,
put it all to the wall. If you know, you know. I'm gonna say 28-7.
well, sounds good to me.
I'm gonna say 28-7. I like that defense the last 3 weeks. I think they'll be able to hold their own.
Yep, and then on Monday morning or whatever, because I think we'll see
I think we have
if
Monday at
if it
12.
yeah if it was enough.
Yeah, we'll see. But let's get into our
Top
our
25.
top 25, man. Top
All right,
25. We actually
I,
got some games going on tonight. In
yeah,
the area.
sure do. I might be able to pull up the live scoreboard. Give me a second.
Okay.
Hang on, let me first. And forgive me again, man. I had the top 25 up, and then somewhere along the line, I lost it. Oh, here
Oh,
I got
you,
top 25.
you. Okay.
I got. I'm put a new tab. Looking at my laptop. I'm looking at my phone and my laptop. So
Gotcha.
while I'm doing that, I'll give you some real time uh pro and uh college and NBA stuff too. While I'm
All right.
pulling it up in the NFL right now, Lamar Jackson has returned, and the Baltimore Ravens, 12 minutes left in the second quarter, lead the Miami Dolphins 14-3 down in Miami Gardens.
Good.
NBA score that I'm not happy about. The Orlando Magic are in Charlotte, leading the Hornets 99-85, 9:35 and fourth. Hopefully, the Hornets can make a rally. The Milwaukee Bucks in late second quarter lead the Golden State Warriors 51-46. Oklahoma City Thunder late second lead the Washington Wizards 50-44. Late first quarter, Miami Heat, San Antonio Spurs are tied at 20 apiece. College football in the FCS on ESPNU, Delaware State, this HBCU battle. Delaware State leads Michael Vick's Norfolk State 10-6.
Mm.
Back up in the Sun Belt, the Marshall Thundering Herd in the late second quarter lead the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers 20-17. Look like offensive battle. And then the American Athletic Conference, surprising score late in the second quarter. The UTSA Roadrunners lead the Tulane Green Wave 24-6. Not what I was expecting to
Oh,
see down in the American.
that's shocking.
Yeah. So and let me see if there's any live North Carolina scores I can get to you right now before we
All
jump
right.
into this top 25.
Yeah,
Uh,
Monroe is playing tonight.
yeah, I got a couple of live scores. Let's see if there are any of that in our area. Huff is leading Hopewell 56 nothing in the fourth quarter.
Mm.
Let's see what we got else
Not
around
shocking.
here. Central Cabarrus is leading Harding 30-8 in the second quarter.
Still not shocking.
I'm still looking. West Charlotte leads North Meck 35 nothing in the third quarter.
Seen that one coming.
Mm, Monroe leads Forest Hills 14-0 in the third quarter.
Mm.
Kannapolis leads West Cabarrus 20-10 in the fourth quarter. And I'm
Okay.
mainly calling 704 area scores that's available. Independence leads Butler 41-0 in the fourth.
Whoa. Whoa.
Uh, Myers Park leads South Mecklenburg 26-0. That's what it says here.
It's probably
I
right.
question, is this right? This is saying that Country Day leads Providence Day 49-0. That got to be backwards. Can somebody verify if that's correct? 'Cause I just don't believe that. So
That-
I
mm,
don't believe that unless something that we don't know about is going on. But this says Country Day is leading Providence Day 49-0. I just don't believe that. And I know that sounds ridiculous for me to say that, but I got a feeling that's backwards. Then if I'm wrong, somebody let me know and I'll stand corrected. Um,
okay.
yeah, someone said Monroe should be playing tonight. Yes, Sean Wheeler, they are playing tonight. Shout out to our good friend Sean Wheeler. He's the sneaker guru. And did the Pittsburgh Steelers win the other night? Oh, never mind. Another score that at least means something to me. T.W. Andrews defeated High Point Central 72-0. I got family that went to both of those high schools, so I got a lot of family in High Point, so that's a big game. I think I got a little cousin that played for one of those schools. I wish Pookie, my cousin, was on here. His son plays either for one of those schools. But
Huh.
anyway, so either he won 72-0 or lost 72-0. I find out. But okay, anyway, back to the top 25. Let's get it started.
Let's
Number
get it
25,
started.
a team that has tradition of being here, the South Point Red Raiders out of
Hmm.
Belmont, North Carolina. South Point, they are playing Ambassador Christian School. They must have already finished their conference slate up, and they're playing this school. Shame on them for even scheduling this game. I expect them to win by as many as they want to.
Yeah, shout out to South Point. South Point by tractor trailer, and two more behind it.
Number 24, a program that I really don't care that much for. The Richmond Senior High School Raiders. 4-0 in their league. They looking to secure a conference championship. They play tomorrow against the Pinecrest Patriots. I want Pinecrest to win this game. They're coached by Coach Nick Edens. Coach Nick Edens is from Casey's Oldfield in Anson County. And Pinecrest is 8-1. This game is basically for the conference championship. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, go Pinecrest, go Coach Edens,
Go
represent Anson County
Patriots.
well, and I would love Coach Edens to knock off a school that he battled against when he played for Anson. So go Coach Edens and the Pinecrest Patriots,
Go
our good friends
Patriots.
from Southern Pines. All right, number 23, another school I don't care that much for, the Sun Valley Spartans out of Monroe Indian Trail. I
Hmm.
don't I don't see how. That's why I don't trust the rankings sometimes. Sun Valley's is not better than Richmond Senior, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Sun Valley's 4-1 in their conference. They take on Porter Ridge, which is also from the Indian Trail area. Porter Ridge
Yeah.
is 6-3. Uh, and by the way, for that previous game, I'm predicting Pinecrest to beat Richmond Senior. In this
Same.
game, yeah, in this game, Porter Ridge versus Sun Valley, I'm gonna pick Sun Valley in a close one.
Give me Puerto Ridge.
All right, house divided. All right, that can go either way. Number 22, the Ashbrook Green Wave, which is
Listen.
that's where big game James Worthy played his basketball,
Yes, sir.
and they're
Lakers.
playing yes, the Lakers legend and Hall of Famer and three-time NBA champion and former NCAA champion with those Tar Heels.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ashbrook is 9-0, 5 in the league. They're taking on Hunter Huss, who's 5-4. Ashbrook's going to run them off the field.
Yeah, and look, I've been talking about this Ashbrook team for the last couple of weeks, man. I think they're gonna be a problem when they get in this playoffs.
Yeah,
They're gonna be a problem.
hey, it was somebody going to have to deal with them.
The fact that they took Chris out like the way they did, I, I'm
This
riding with the Green Wave.
They mean business.
They
Number
they mean
20,
business.
Yes, they do. Number 21, the Watauga County Pioneers. That's up in Boone. They're 9-0, 4-0 in the league. They play on St. Steve. They play St. Stephen's out of Hickory tomorrow. Anson beat St. Stephen's in the playoffs years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what St. Stephen's record is. Give me a second. I expect Watauga to win this game, but I just want to see what St. Stephen's record is before I determine how much they win by. St. Stephen's is out of Hickory. I don't see the record. I'm not gonna spend all day looking for it, but I think Watauga County is gonna beat St. Stephen's like they stole something.
Yeah, give me Watauga by a W.
Yeah. Number 20, Southeast Raleigh. Let's see what the deal is here. Southeast Raleigh. They're 6-3, and they take on South Garner. I've heard of Garner, but I never heard of South Garner. But
I
I
ain't
think,
either.
but I think Southeast Raleigh is going to beat South Garner handily.
Fair enough.
All right. Number 19, Roseville. Let's
Right.
see. Roseville going. They come into this game 6-3, and they are taking on Inlow.
They should beat the
Uh,
envelope. They should fold the envelope.
I agree. We're on the same page. I'm picking Roseville for this one.
Mail that envelope.
Yep. Number 18, East Lincoln, the Mustangs. Let's see who East Lincoln is taking on tomorrow. The 9-1 and 71 in the league. They're taking on. Oh, they're 9-1. They got a bye.
Oh,
Last week,
they're done.
at least for now. Last
Yeah.
week they defeated the Maiden Blue Devils. East Lincoln finished second in their conference. So East Lincoln's waiting to find out who their postseason opponent is going to be. East
Yep.
Lincoln has, in recent years, have won championships. So we know East Lincoln is sitting back, getting ready.
Yeah.
Number 17, Jordan, out of Bull City, Durham. The Jordan Falcons, they're 9-0, 5-0 in the league. They're leading Willow Spring 29-3 as we speak. Look like they're going to go on to hang on to that one.
Yep. Yeah, that's with Jordan.
Yep. Number 16, the Hickory Red Tornadoes won state
Mm.
championship a couple years ago. The
Yep.
Red Tornadoes are 8-1, 7-0 in their league, and they take on Bandies out of Catawba tomorrow. I think Hickory wins that game with no problem.
What's Bandy's? I don't know what Bandy's
And
record.
I think Hickory gonna whoop their, you know what, no matter. Bandies used to be decent. You know, that's where WWE superstar Braun Strowman. That's when he played football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Scherr is his real name, but yeah, he played at Bandies. Bandies have always had competitive squads, but I don't think they're going to be enough for the Hickory Red Tornadoes. Number 15, Garner, six and
Same.
three, 3-2 in their league. They
That's the
take on
same
Fuquay
Garner that we played years
years
ago.
ago. Yep,
Okay.
they take
Okay.
on Fuquay Varina. I'm picking Garner to win that.
Yeah, I'm picking Garner over that team.
All right. Number 14, Hoggard, 9-0 out of
Wilmington.
Wilmington. Yeah, the Hoggard Vikings 9-0, 5-0 in the league. They take on Ashley out of Wilmington. That's a crosstown game. I think Hoggard wins that and a big time blowout.
Yeah, Hargett is tuning up for the playoffs tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think Ashley has. Ashley's 3-6. Oh no, yeah, I'm picking Hoggard. Number 13, the Mallet Creek Mavericks, and let's see what the Mavs are doing. They're leading Chambers 31-0 as we speak. Captain Munderland, man, that was a lot of hype. You know, Captain Munderland's the head coach at Chambers now. Former
Yeah,
Carolina Panther Captain Munderland, former Minnesota Viking Captain Munderland, former South Carolina Gamecock. Year one is not going the way I think he envisioned it going, man. He's got to go back to the drawing board because if not, he won't be there long. but
yeah,
Mallet Creek leads Chambers 31-0. Mallet Creek is getting ready for I think the get ready for a playoff run. So I know that this is not losing 3 games in the regular season is not what they envisioned either. But I think Mallet Creek can play with anybody. Don't underestimate them come playoff time.
yeah. And the 3 games that they lost, they didn't lose no pushover teams.
Oh,
That's
absolutely not. I
they
agree.
they played. For one, they played the number 4 team in the nation,
Yeah,
and then got and it showed they actually beat a ranked team in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken.
they did.
and they lost. Did they lose? The Independence beat them. Yeah, they lost
Yeah,
to. They
yeah.
lost to
Independence
Independence.
is and it hadn't lost the conference game. We'll get to them in a minute.
Yeah.
But number 12, the West Forsyth Titans, 7-2, 4-0 in their league. They're playing Parkland crosstown battle in Winston-Salem tomorrow. I know Parkland has won a state championship back in the day, but boy have they fallen off. Parkland's 1-8. That's
Ooh.
yeah. Parkland won the state championship in 2001, 3A, but yeah, Parkland's 1-8. I think West Forsyth gonna keep on rolling
Yeah, give me the Titans by a lot.
by a whole lot.
A whole
N-
lot.
Number 11, the Mustangs out of Myers Park. Myers Park is 7-2, 3-1 in their league. They're leading South Mecklenburg 26-0 as we speak. Myers
Well,
Park is rolling. Going to be a tough out for anybody come playoff time.
yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the year, I think when we first started, we talked about how Myers Park was like, we didn't know what they were gonna be. Well, we know
Well, now
now.
we know.
But now we know.
we know they are legit.
Shout out to Drake
Speak.
May.
Yeah, shout out to Drake May. Speaking of legit, number 10, we're in the top 10 now. This is definitely legit when you get to this point. The Independence Patriots, 7-2 overall, 3-1 in league play. They're leading the Butler Bulldogs 27-0 as we speak. I noticed Independence ain't lost a couple games, but I think they're not a team that no one's just going to be wanting to see in their bracket next week in the playoffs.
No, they're not. First off, shout out to Chris Lyles. I did pick Valley Creek a couple weeks ago to beat them. I remember I said I would come back and say that, and the Independence handle business. But yeah, Independence is for real, man. They're back. The big
Mm.
eye is back.
And Chris Lyles, where you at, man? I ain't seen or heard from you in a long time, man. Where you been? Pull up on us, man. We want to hear from you.
I sent them the link
Anyway,
this morning.
you somewhere?
I sent them the link this morning.
Okay.
But
I haven't
back.
seen Chris Lyles in person in like 3 years. So, hey, shout out to Chris Lyles, man. Hey, and Chris, you know what you ought to do, man? I heard you got a special wide receiver that's a son, but he's wearing that dark green and gold. That boy look good in some blue and orange, Chris. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, uh, but no, happy to see the young man doing well. And shout out to Chris Lyles, great guy, great husband and father, man, doing a wonderful job raising his son, and has produced a phenomenal athlete and a great human being. All right, number 9, the Cardinal Gibbons Crusaders, man, they do it for Christ. So you know we got to show Cardinal Gibbons a little love. They're already 9-1 and 3-0 in their league. Uh, they played already, is what it was. They beat Cary 46-0 earlier tonight.
Oh, well,
Cardinal Gibbons said they're ready. They're ready for playoffs. They said they're ready to take on all challengers. I think.
yeah.
Like I said, they're the Charlotte Catholic of the East, and they're ready to take on all challengers
Mm-hmm.
anytime, any place. Number 8, the Mooresville Blue Devils, 7-2, 4-0 in league play, taking on a crosstown opponent tomorrow in Lake Norman. Lake Norman has a good football team. You know, I'm kind of familiar with those Iredell County teams.
Yeah.
Lake Norman is 7-2, 4-0 as well. Whew.
Give me Lake Norman.
I'm I'm going Mooresville in a close one.
I'll take
All right, so
Lake
we
Norman in
split
a
on that.
close one. Yeah, Lake
That
Norman
that
in a
game
close one.
that game will be for the conference championship.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, that's gonna be a Donnybrook, a Jim Dandy, a slobber knocker, or whatever you want to call it.
Good God
Well,
Almighty.
I shouldn't be using JR references right now from some
Yeah, yeah,
disturbing.
yeah.
I don't know about all that, but we'll get into that on another show.
I don't think he
uh,
crying wolf though, but yeah.
yeah, I just don't. I just wonder, is there more to the story on that? But anyway, who knows, man? Who knows? Anyway, number 7, Cleveland. The Cleveland Rams, 9-0, 5-0 in league play. They're taking on Clayton. That's in Johnston County. They're taking on them tomorrow. I've never known Clayton. I've known them to have respectable teams. Actually, more than respectable. They're 7-2. So let me shut my mouth.
Uh,
I still think Cleveland's going to beat them.
Yeah, I think Cleveland's gonna win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think so too. I think like Clayton has a good football team. Don't get me wrong, but I think Cleveland's on a different level.
Yeah.
So I'm picking Cleveland. Number 6, another program that we're familiar with in Anson, the Weddington Warriors. People they got the West Charlotte transfer that came in the middle of the year. I ain't getting into that. They got Thomas Davis II. You know, it's a factory out there in Western Union County at their Weddington. There's a lot of money out there too. 9-1, so they already
Mm-hmm.
played. 9-1, 6-0 in the league. Earlier, they got a bye. Last week they beat Piedmont 49-0. They must have taken it easy on them.
I think they called the dogs off in the second quarter.
Yeah, they probably did. So Weddington's a team that's a 7A state championship contender. I mean, can play with anybody.
Yeah,
So I mean, don't be surprised if you see them playing in December for the whole thing. So
yeah,
that team's always tough out. Don't just look at that team and be fooled when you just see what you see with your eyes. They can get on the field and they'll show you something.
yeah. They are who they are. They're advertised as they are.
Yep. Now we've reached the top 5. I think we're getting to the cream of the crop. And what did Macho Man Randy Savage say about the cream? The
They rise to
cream
the top.
always rises to the top. And number 5, Millbrook out of Raleigh. I didn't mean to click on that, but Millbrook, I had to go back anyway. Millbrook is 9-0. They're taking on Corinth Holders. I'm not even gonna look that team up. They should win that game in a blowout.
Yeah, that's gonna be a blowout. I think. Yeah, that ain't gonna be close.
Number 4, right off of Beatty's Ford Road, the Lions
The
out of
Ford,
West Charlotte,
Dub
known
C,
locally and affectionately as Dub C,
Dub C.
playing playing as we speak 7-2, 4-0 in league play. Lead the North Mecklenburg Vikings 43-0 as we speak. I think you can mark that as 8-2.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Flat.
West Charlotte, the losses they have weren't pushover losses either. Let's get that out of the way.
I put it like this: if you plan on winning an 8A championship,
You got to go
you're
to
gonna
them.
you're gonna have to go to that raggedy stadium out there on Beatties Ford and win, and that's gonna be very hard.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to go to that raggedy stadium and win, and I just don't know if there's anyone who's gonna go to that raggedy stadium and win.
Okay, I'll be.
West Charlotte right now, they looking like the old West Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
The West Charlotte that was a powerhouse
Tommy
when I was a little
Knox.
boy. The old West Charlotte. That's what they
Charlotte.
looking like now. I think they're ready. They're primed and ready, and I think they're saying that hey, if you want it, they said we lost one of our best players in the not transfer portal, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Moved and transferred out in the middle of the year, and they said we're not missing a beat. Like I said, their only 2 losses were a 1 point overtime loss to Grimsley and a 3 point overtime loss to Rock Hill South Point, who's a big time powerhouse too.
Yep.
This team can play with anybody, can easily be undefeated, and I think they're ready to go into the playoffs and make a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to the top 3. William Amos Huff out of Cornelius, 9-0. I don't know if they're 7A or 8A. I get it a little mixed up, but we
I
gonna
think
find
they.
out.
I think they 7.
Okay. Well, like I said, they've already got the 10-0, 5-0 in the league. They beat Hopewell 56-0. Hopewell was hopeless against Huff, but
Yes.
not surprised by that score at all. The
That's
Huff
another team to
Huskies,
be can make it to December.
yes, they can. Yes, they can. Number 2, we'll go back to the private ranks. Providence Day, who I think is going to win that private school championship with no problem.
Yeah.
They're playing country day. I need someone to give me the correct score on that because I'm like, in my heart of hearts, and I don't have a score now. I think that was wrong earlier. Now it's not showing a score at all. Um, but I believe Providence Day is going to win that private school championship with no problem.
Yeah. No
Providence Day
issues.
Chargers, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're on a mission. They're on a different level, and I think
Yeah.
they're going to handle business.
Yep.
And then number 1, it's been the same story every week.
Every
Uh,
week. Ain't changed. Ain't changed yet.
Nope. The Grimsley Whirlies, 9-0, 5-0 in the league. Tomorrow they take on Ben L. Smith, and they're gonna beat their you know what's. I don't
Yep.
think they're gonna beat Smith so bad people gonna be sending them down to Smith.
Beat them so
For you
bad
got
they're gonna be on battleground.
yeah. So I Smith is 2-6 too, and like they should have been playing more games than that. But that's neither here nor there. But
Mm-hmm.
Grimsley's gonna keep rolling.
Yeah,
So
that's another seven or eight, 7-8 team. I think, if I ain't mistaken, I think that's 7-8.
yeah, so I mean that's the top 25, man.
Yeah, whew, man, playoffs is around the well, around the door. We at the
Yeah, next
threshold
week. Yeah, next
next
week.
week.
Next
Next week,
Friday.
it's round one.
Yep.
Um, man, the RP the brackets were released Monday.
Yep.
And I figured that because of this weird calculation. So I figured that was gonna take a longer than expected, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's neither here or there. But it is what it is. And tomorrow we got a game at 7 o'clock at Bearcat Stadium, senior night.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all definitely show up, show out, support the Bearcats, man.
Yes, sir.
But how we do at the end of the show. I give you the floor.
All right, man. It's Uh, I'm sure most of you know this person. I didn't mention this a few months ago because it was during the time we weren't in season. But a few months ago, most of you in Nancy County, I'm sure you knew Mr. Jamie Bennett. He was a beloved youth league baseball coach who's a avid Anson Bearcat fan. He worked for the Department of Transportation. We lost him a few months ago, and I really never got a chance to talk about it on here. But he was a guy who I consider a good friend, a guy that I worked in church with or whatever. And he passed away back in April. Or come to find out, this week we also lost his father. His father, Mr. James Thomas Bennett, passed away earlier this week. And this is also coming after James' brother had passed away maybe a couple of months before him. So it's been a tough go for that Bennett family, man. And what they're going through right now, I don't wish on anybody. So those of you who believe in prayer, I said whisper one for them. And then from a personal standpoint for me, about an hour before I got on the show, man, I found out I lost a cousin. This man, Vernon McClendon, was my father's first cousin. I grew up around him. His son Devin and I played together as children and stuff. Anybody who know me, my aunt Ruth lived in Albemarle, and this is Aunt Ruth's son. And it saddens me because when we lived in Albemarle, he was a fixture in my life that I saw all the time, and I lost track of him throughout the years, and it just kind of didn't stay in contact at all. And so I was not expecting to get that news. His son contacted me and let me know that my cousin Vernon passed away, and kind of caught me off guard. And because anytime I went to Aunt Ruth and Uncle Bob's house, he was there. So in my childhood, he was a person that I saw around fairly frequently, and now to just before we got on the show to find out he passed away, it really caught me off guard. And like I said, this was my father's first cousin, and this is coming a couple of months after we lost my mother's first cousin, my cousin Rose Ingram. So it's you know it lets you know that that time clock eventually runs out, and we're getting to the age where a lot of people that we that were fixtures in our lives when we were growing up. I know Nick, if I'm not mistaken, you had an uncle slash cousin or close of person in your family maybe a month ago who transitioned on as well. So it's just a reminder, man. These people who were fixtures in our lives as we were growing up, as these years are going by, man, and we're just seeing the sand run out the hourglass on a lot of folks, man. And it could be kind of tough to fathom because even though you know that it's going to happen, when it starts happening, it's a harsh reality that you don't like, and it's just a reminder of how fragile things are, and it's just
Yeah,
a reminder to take every moment seriously. Because when we say it can get late early, that also applies to life too. So take every moment seriously. Never assume that you can get it done next time. If you got an opportunity to get it done now.
right. And and you're right about that, man. Time is one thing we don't get back. So
Nope.
You gotta take full advantage of it. But yeah, man, we up out of here. See you tomorrow night at the game. And we'll catch y'all. If we find out some stuff about this playoff thing, I'm gonna definitely do something on that because I'm real intrigued about what's gonna happen. But um, yeah, we'll definitely tap back in. And, appreciate y'all for coming. And we'll catch y'all next week.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Take it easy.